Hey guys, this is EKS. Welcome back to another video, and today we're talking about buzzbaits, spinnerbaits, and of course, the chatterbait. Now, real quick, what are my favorite ways to throw them is obviously obvious. I like throwing them around wood. I like throwing them around the grass line. I like throwing them up in vegetation and pulling them out. I like throwing them around rock piles. I like throwing these lures around points. And the reason being is I've caught more fish on points, rock piles, laydowns, wood. It doesn't matter. These lures catch fish. Now, one of the lures here today is something I'm not very confident in. I'm only throwing it about once, and that's the buzzbait. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the buzzbait a little bit because I'm not too certain on throwing it. But I have seen people like my dad or my brother, they love throwing the buzzbait. I don't know what it is about it. No clue on why fish like it because it is the most annoying lure out there. But I think that's one of the reasons why fish love it. You throw it out there, you start reeling as fast as you can to get the bait on top of the water, and these blades start spinning, and they throw water to water, and it's super annoying. But I think the bats are so annoyed at it, they just come up and swat at it, to kill whatever's making that noise. Or they think it's a shad or minnow or bluegill that is injured and swimming on top of the water. And for colors, honestly, I think white chartreuse, plain white, or black and blue would work the best for this buzzbait. I only see my dad throwing white and chartreuse, but I think that's like his confidence lure around, early in the morning, late evening, and in between when you have like partial cloud cover, midday, a little bit of sun shining. That's when I see him throwing it. And that's where I see, anywhere from a 1 pound to a 4 pound bass, will just blow up on this lure. Now, moving on, we got probably one of my confidence baits, which is the classic spinnerbait. One thing I love about a spinnerbait is it's simple. All it is a lead head with some wire, swivels attached to blades, and a hook. It's simple, it looks stupid, but it looks so stupid, you don't think, honestly, I thought, why would a bass like this? It don't look like nothing. But I was wrong, because this lure right here looks like a shad. The reason being is the bats are not looking at the wire. They're looking at the skirt, the head of the lure, and then whatever trailer you have. A Goog and Crack and Crawl. That's what I have as a trailer for this. Or you might have a swim bait, like a Gary Yamamoto Zeko, or Reaction Innovations Skinny Dipper, or my favorite, the Kitech. And in matching the skirt color, whatever colors you like, or whatever colors match, your lure, that's what I like to throw. Now, let's talk about the odd colors of spinnerbaits real quick. Now, what am I calling an odd color? Odd colors of a spinnerbait to me, besides your classic white chartreuse, black and blue, and just plain white, is something like this. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking. Why are you showing a odd purple and pink looking lure that don't look like nothing? The reason being is this lure right here is a KVD, I think, Midnight spinnerbait. The reason why I got it is we fish a lake that's very, very dirty, chocolate milk year round, and is never it's never any other color. And I like throwing this because it's dark enough, but it's dark enough for fish to see it, and also it mimics a bluegill pretty well in the water, and that's what the bass over there love eating. Now, as far as for lures for that, I'm just going to throw a black and blue Zecco, black and blue, whatever I have in black and blue, I'm going to put on the back of that lure, cast it out, and see if I can't catch anything. But let's move on to the classic. I mean, I've seen pros absolutely slay with this lure. Good, faithful chatterbait. Now, the colors for this apply with the Buzzbait and with the Spinnerbait. You know, I don't like doing anything crazy. I don't like the tilapia colors. I just like black and blue, you know, white and chartreuse, and white. Why? Because it mimics the fish that bats eat very well. And they work year-round in any color water. Honestly, I've seen people, especially in my family, who throw a white spinnerbait with a big Colorado blade. They throw it out, they reel it in slowly, and as they're reeling it in, next thing you know, they catch a 5-pound bass. The reason being is bats in that lake might want shad, or they might want a minnow-looking lure, which is why, you know, white and chartreuse and pearl-like colors, you know, a white works very well. It mimics shad and minnows, and that's what fish eat. That's what bats eat almost year-round. Or I won't say year-round, but about 7 months out of the year. Now, let's real quickly talk about some trailers. I'm not going to go too crazy with my trailer. The reason being is I got my confidence ones, and I got lures that I always like throwing on the back of my spinnerbait, buzzbait, or my chatterbait. First up is some type of crawl. This is a Guggen crawl. You know, I like Guggen baits. I think they're okay. They have really good scent. You know, I like the pearl crawl. I like hooking it up on the spinnerbait because I don't hook it, you know, where the claws are like this. I hook it where the claws are pointed this way. Does that make sense? I hook it sideways for a very good reason, because it acts like a fish's tail. Because when they're going through the water like this, you know, it looks, oh, that's a, you know, bats would look, oh, that's a shad, oh, that's a minnow, you know, instead of, oh, that's a crawl swimming away, you know what I mean? I would rather make it look like a bait fish, because, you know, I'm going to throw that particular lure around where I see minnows jumping or shad jumping, and when I see bats, you know, running up and down, chasing lures, that's when I want to throw that, you know, style. Also, I like throwing, you know, a white or black and blue, sometimes a green pumpkin, rage minutes, or a rage crawl. Now let's talk about swim baits. You know, this is a staple for me. The reason being is I hooked into a 5-pound bass on the back of the swim jig with the Zecco. Now, the Zecco is probably one of my favorite swim bait trailers. The reason being is it's made for the chatterbait, but it also works for a spinnerbait, and it also works, you know, for the buzzbait. It's a very, very well-made lure. It's by Gary Yamamoto, so it's kind of expensive, but I'm willing to pay $7 for 4 of them, because, you know, it's a jointed swim bait. As you can see that, it's jointed. It has a hollowed out body, which is very good. And you can get the paddle-tailed version, or you can get the shad-looking one. The paddle-tailed one, I threw it, and it don't work. I don't think it works as well as the forked tail. I think this one works a little bit better. But this lure, let me just tell you something. This lure mimics shad so well that throwing it on the back of the spinnerbait is one of my favorite ways to fish it. Now, let's talk about some other swim baits as well. Okay, I thought I had a Kitex behind me, but I don't. I like throwing Kitex, you know, the classic fat impact Kitex swim bait on the back of spinnerbait, chatterbait, you know, buzzbait. The reason being, they come in good colors. They're my favorite ripper style swim bait, and they're pretty affordable too. Next up, I'd have to say, is the Reaction Innovations Skinny Dipper. Reason being, they got this tail that really, really kicks in the water. Just, I don't know what it is about it, but it just works. You know, it's a weird cutout with the lure. You see, it's kind of has a cut here and there. Looks very weird, but as a trailer, I mean, it's absolutely deadly. I mean, I've caught some fish on it with it hooked up to a spinnerbait before. But let's quit talking about all of the lures and trailers for them, and let's talk about the rod. Now, for me, I'm a big Abu Garcia guy. I like Abu Garcia. You get a good price with a good rod. But this is a Blue Max 7-foot medium heavy parabolic action, so it's very, very sensitive rod. With 12-pound Seaguar fluorocarbon line. The reason being why I like Seaguar fluorocarbon line is it's very, very good line, and I like using 12-pound because this is, I don't think you're going to be very finesse with a chatterbait or a swim bait. And I like it because you can go through cover, you can go through grass very, very well with the fluorocarbon. Monofilament, not so much. Braids, I think braids a little bit too sensitive, and it's not, in my opinion, I'm not very confident with braid. But as far as the rod goes, I like a 7-foot medium heavy parabolic action. You can use a heavy duty rod, but I don't think you're going to, you know, need it unless you're in Florida. We're in Kentucky, so our fish are not that big. They can get, you know, 10 pounds, but around here, average is about 4 to 6 pounds. That's smallmouth or largemouth or spotted. But as far as a reel goes, I like a 6-bearing reel, 6 to 7 bearing, with a 7.5 gear ratio. That's what I like to use it on. And I like a very sensitive rod with a very soft tip. This rod is about 20% tip and about, you know, 80% backbone. And for me, that is the perfect combination. Because let me just tell you something. You don't want too much tip and you don't want too much backbone. The perfect for swim baits, for a creature bait, you know, for the swim bait and jigs and spinner baits, chatterbaits, buzzbaits, is a medium heavy with a 20% of a top soft tip and an 80% backbone. That's the perfect rod, I think. Now 7 foot is the, you know, 7 foot, 7.5 foot is what that rod is. Wait, let me look real quick. I think this is a 7.5. No, it's a 7 foot medium heavy. So it's a longer rod. Overall, it's a longer rod than what, you know, than a jerkbait rod or a worm rod for that matter. It's a longer rod. It's a little bit, you know, got a little bit of a softer tip. You know, has some backbone to it, but it helps you set the hook. The reason being, if you have too much backbone, you're going to break your line. If you have too much of a tip, you're going to set the hook, but when you're going to have to set it all the way over here and really hook into the fish. But if you have the perfect balance, all you got to do is hook like this and start reeling in. Because I don't want a rod that's too stiff that when I, you know, do this, next thing I know, I break my line. I don't want a rod too light that I got to go all the way over here to hook the fish. I want the perfect balance where I just go right here and I just start reeling the fish in. And honestly, I think that's going to be it for this video. But if you all like it, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and leave a comment. Ask me, what more videos would you like to see? Would you like to see me go fishing? Would you like to see me do lure reviews? Would you like to see me do more of this content where I talk about a specific type of baits and how I like to throw them, or how I see people throwing them? Just leave a like, subscribe, and this is EKS, and I'm signing off.